It's been an interesting journey for our family. My father started the business in 1942, and in the 50s, 60s, he was the king of watches in Australia. He imported a lot of brands, some which we still carry today, like Tudor and Longines and Rolex. The business metamorphosised in 1975 when we opened a store here in St James Arcade. It was my mother's effort to do that, which was a little hobby for her at the time. Since then we've expanded here, I think, 4 times. Just in late last year we went to 2 levels, doubled the premises. We're at 450 square metres now. And we've built a really nice array of prestige brands in the watch and jewellery field. Since then we represent about 10 famous brands, and also our jewellery offering. We represent some of the finest jewellers in the world, plus we create our own bespoke pieces. I'd like to think it's perfection. That's the mantra I have, and it's what I'm drumming into my staff every day. I mean, we can't be perfect all the time, but that's our aim. You know, and by perfection, I mean, to me, my name's on the door. If someone comes into our store, I want them to get the best possible service and experience. That's all I care about today. So, you know, as I said, that's where we're heading, that's where we want to be. We'll do the best we can to achieve that. Can't do it all the time, of course. We're human beings, and you know, some things can slip through the cracks, or there can be miscommunications, but we try and minimise that. But that's where we want to be in the marketplace, and our reputation. And I think we do enjoy a good reputation within the trade and through the public. I think they understand what we're trying to do, and we're doing our best. But yeah, ultimately my reputation is everything to me at the moment. That's a very interesting question at the moment, Joseph, never more relevant. We have so much pressure on us for a limited range of watches from Rolex and Patek Philippe in particular that we are getting asked for every day, and I'm sure you know the ones I'm talking about. Any sports Rolex, a Datejust, any Aquanaut or Nautilus, it's actually driving us crazy. I mean, we're here to sell and to help customers. It's very frustrating for them that we can't provide it, and it's very frustrating for us that we can't provide it. A lot of customers I seem to think we have some agenda. We have no agenda. We just have a limited supply and overwhelming demand. So coming back to your original question about an ideal customer for us, everyone's asking for the hard to get pieces. An ideal customer for us is someone who shops with us overall. So they buy regular pieces, they buy jewellery, they don't just ask for hard to get pieces, because that's what everyone's doing. So, you know, we have people who've dealt with us for decades, and they do support us across the range. And that to me is an ideal customer, not just someone who is after the latest and hottest stuff and nothing else. Look, I think a good starting point for a watch for me is something that you can envisage having for the rest of your life, and it's a bit more classical. I'm very practical, and I think having a waterproof watch on a bracelet stainless steel is a very good starting point. Hence, I guess, why Rolex professional pieces are so popular. That's a really good backbone. But you know, everyone, I suppose, have different lifestyles and desires, and they might like a different look. Some people will dream about having a classical watch on a strap. There are a lot of very wonderful brands available at the moment. They've all got their own history, their own story. I suppose people can now, with the internet, can research that, see which of those stories really appeals to them. You know, it's like some people like Mercedes, some people like BMW. There's something that will draw you to one brand or the other. And then you need to find a watch within that range that suits you best. But I think, you know, if you start with something that is going to be a long-term watch, and then after that you can start looking at more specialty pieces that you mightn't wear every day, but something just, you know, might be like the Ferrari watches, something that really makes you feel good, and something a bit more individual. But I think it's a good idea to start with the core piece. Look, Australia was, let's call it an immature market in the 40s, 50s, 60s. And my father was, as I've already said, a great entrepreneur. He was definitely an ideas man. And so he imported, as you've said, cases and movements and dials, and he made watches with the J Farren-Price name on it. He also made interesting names like Pathfinder, and he would advertise the Pathfinder. He was a great marketer. And I remember as a child at Castlereagh Street, where we had a 3-story building. The top half was accommodation, the bottom half was where we assembled watches. I remember as a child stamping J Farren-Price on the dial of watches, and also fitting leather straps. I used to get 5 cents for fitting a leather strap, and I'd do that in my school holidays to earn some money. That was okay back then, but now Australia, since particularly 2000s, really matured as a market and really understands international brands that are all represented here. And I don't think that a J Farren-Price watch will really cut it in this market. And we have, maybe 30 years ago, we had J Farren-Price watches, nice ladies' diamond pieces, and they sold in very moderate numbers. But what is interesting is that more and more people are contacting me saying, I've got a J Farren-Price watch, can you tell me some history about it? And sadly, my mother passed away in 2018, and really the history of the company went with her back in the 60s and 70s, and I'm very distressed, I suppose, that I can't answer these people asking me for details. But all I know is that so many people say they've had these watches, they've had them 30, 40 plus years, never had them serviced, they're still going. Wow. They were good quality Swiss movements, and they seem to last very, very well. And maybe as time goes on, I will do something about trying to get more of the history of the brand, and that could be quite interesting. Yeah, it was a J Farren-Price watch, which I still have. So I have a watch at home. It was a waterproof watch on a rubber strap that I got when I was 14 years old. And that thing, I can pick it up out of the drawer and she still goes. Sadly, the luminescence has faded on a bit, but it's a very nice watch. Haven't put it on for a long time. And actually, a couple of customers recently have given me J Farren-Price watches. So I've got a little collection of them. But in answer to your question, yeah, it was a J Farren-Price. Very important. We have a wonderful relationship with Patek Philippe. We are the original Patek Philippe retailer in Australia. We had a nice area for them in our previous store, but the brand is so prestigious, we wanted to make a beautiful space for them. And the opportunity came to take this second level. I suggested to Patek we could make a beautiful salon for them upstairs. They were very keen on the idea. We told them the size of the space we could contemplate, and they went to work, and as they do, did a beautiful design. We're sitting in a beautiful Patek Philippe room now. And we realised it, and we're very, very proud to offer our customers this exclusive and beautiful space to view the range of Patek Philippe watches. The answer is yes, I'm interested in doing it. In particular, in 2022 will be our 80th anniversary. But having said that, there's very limited ability to do that. The major manufacturers like Patek Philippe and Rolex really don't customise watches for individual retailers. I did actually write to Patek Philippe for our 75th anniversary and said to them, would you contemplate doing a special edition for us to celebrate? And they wrote back to me and they said, well, we only do that for 100th anniversary. So I have to wait another 22 years if I can last that long, and maybe then Patek Philippe will do an exclusive edition for me. Well, the answer to that is that one allows me to do the other. They're not mutually exclusive, they're codependent. I need the watches to do the sailing. I'm just having a beautiful boat built in Italy, which is not inexpensive, and this business has allowed me to fund that. I don't want to choose one or the other between those two. They both have their time and place. and as I said, one allows me to do the other. A couple of years ago I had a beautiful trip to the reef. I realised a dream. I spent a month sailing up to the reef, going to Hamilton Island Race Week. I could have done that if I didn't have the income from the business, so the two go hand in hand. You can't pick between those two brands. I mean, they are the two most iconic brands in the business, and they appeal to a different market and they perform a different function. You know, as I've already said to you, with my lifestyle, with my sailing, with my golf, with my gym, whatever, you know, a waterproof sports watch is the most practical for me. That could be an Aquanaut, a Nautilus, could be a Rolex professional piece. They both cover that segment of the market. You can't choose between those two brands. What they've done, their reputation, how they present themselves, and you know, I said we are about perfection, and so I suppose we've aligned ourselves with companies which are about perfection. And I think Rolex and Patek Philippe are both about perfection in their product and you know, their vision. So I can't pick between those two brands, I'm afraid. Yeah, well, that's a really very interesting question. If you asked me that before we represented Grand Seiko, I would have to say, I would have said Swiss all the way. I mean, the Swiss brands have prestige, they have the auction results, they have the heritage, but you know, you can't take it away from Grand Seiko. They again, that word perfection keeps coming up. I think that's what they want to do, that they have that Japanese culture of perfection, which is the reason we represent them. Their product is very innovative, super accurate. The way they polish is beautiful. They're an up-and-coming brand, and you know, I'm very happy to be on this ride with them and to go up into the future with them. I think they've got a big future. And the interesting thing is, you know, a lot of Grand Seiko, we are selling to customers own Patek Philippe. You know, they will own both. And I think they appreciate the quality of Grand Seiko. They understand what that company is trying to achieve, and you know, they will gravitate to quality no matter who makes it. So it could be the Swiss or it could be the Japanese. If you make the product, they will come, and that's what's happening with Grand Seiko at the moment. They're integrated. You know, to make a sale, you have to have customer service. And that's part of our proposition, is that, you know, we have been around a long time, we hope that we will be around a long time. We are not just here to sell you a watch and wish you on your merry way. We want to build a relationship with you, but we want to service you in terms of if you need after-sale service for your watch, we have a warranty issue. If you want to design a beautiful piece of jewellery, we have a jewellery designer and we manufacture. We can help insure your product. We are trying to provide an all-over service for our clients so that they don't need to go anywhere else. So, as I said, the two go hand in hand. For sure, we need the sales to keep the business running, but you know, the customer service has enabled us to do that. So, the two of them are, as I said, go hand in hand. Online selling for us, I don't see as a big thing. Firstly, in answer to your question, not all of our brands will allow us to sell online. So we are representing online those brands that will. I personally don't believe in it. I think the reason we are here is to have an experience for clients. I believe they want to come in and try things on and touch them and feel them, know they're dealing with a reputable company. And I don't believe we will sell a lot online. It might be in unique circumstances. Maybe somebody lives in the country and can't get to town. As you say, with COVID, that maybe has been a little more opportunity to sell online, but that's a temporary thing. I think, you know, we've been very lucky in Australia, and you know, we're almost back to normal, I think you can say. So it's not my philosophy, and I don't want to encourage online shopping, because I want to meet my clients, I want to get to know them, I want to hear what they're doing. You know, our unique selling proposition is that, you know, I'm an owner and I'm here to see clients, and that, you know, separates us from a lot of the more corporate type of organisations. So that's what we're here to do, to provide personal service. If we get a little bit of online along the way, well, that's a bonus, but it's not something I'm really seeking to be a big part of our organisation. Yeah, for sure. It affected our business in the month of April. April was the worst month we had in 20 years, and the business just stopped. We did keep operating through COVID. We opened 2 days a week for 3 hours a day. That was mainly for people to pick things up and for maybe make some appointments for special things, just to keep things ticking along. May was a bit better, and then from then it's like nothing's happened. In fact, the demand is through the roof. As I've already touched on, supply is our big issue. And we have been a bit lucky on the supply side because of Australia performing pretty well. Because there were states that were closed down, we actually got a better supply of some products than we had in the past, and we've actually had some record months. So COVID's been a terrible, terrible thing, but it's been very selective how it's affected businesses. Some businesses have been destroyed, and some businesses, particularly luxury, seems to be going pretty well. And I think it's obviously because people are stuck in Australia, they're not travelling, they're not buying overseas, it's something to make them feel a bit better to buy a nice luxury item. So I have to say we've been very fortunate through this. The future for us, look, we're a very, very steady firm. We're a bit like, I suppose, the Rolex of the watch business. We're quite steady. We don't have revolutions. We just keep doing what we do, trying to improve what we do. So in terms of the brands we carry, I can't see much change happening. We've got a really wonderful stable of brands. We don't change brands quickly. We have partners here that we've had for 70 years with Jewellery and Rolex and Longines, 45 years with Patek Philippe. So we're pretty consistent. So we're just going to keep doing what we're doing and just continue to try and offer the best possible service we can to our clients. And that's what we're all about. Look, I have two daughters, 17 and 20 years old. They're a long way off deciding what they're going to do in life. My eldest has been very consistent. She's always wanted to be a film director, and she's going down that path, but she's helping me out here at the moment. She's doing photography for us and doing some work for us. The youngest has also been in here. She's more interested in the beauty field, but she loves beautiful things, and she knows our brands, and she knows what ring she wants as an engagement ring, and she's a beautiful drawer. She's a wonderful artist, and who knows where that might lead, but I can't force them into it, and it could be a looming problem for me in my succession plan. But for the moment, particularly since my mum passed 2 years ago, I've really the heritage of the business has meant a lot more to me, and it's actually inspired me to keep going. So, if I can keep empowering people within the organisation, get them to understand my culture so that they can provide it to our clients. I don't necessarily have to be here all the time, and I can, in some way call it a loose cover. I can be a bit more of a helicopter, just checking that things are going the way they should without actually having to be so day to day. So if I can do that, there's no reason my health holds up that I can't be here to see that 100th anniversary in 2042. Look, I've always believed in a life balance. I love our company and our business, because I have a family and I have interests. I love to sail, as you said. I've sailed since I was 13 years old, and I've been on boats since I was 6 weeks old. My dad brought me up on boats. It's where I'm happiest on the water. I have a lovely family, 2 beautiful daughters. I love spending time with them. I'm a keen golfer, and I like to try and keep fit. So there's a lot of things in my life I like to do. And I have good people here. In fact, over the last few years, I've promoted people internally within the organisation to take more responsibility off me. You know, you don't have to be here all the time. If you have the right people in place, the right organisation set up, you can still enjoy a reasonable lifestyle, and I've always placed great importance on that, and I think I've got a pretty good balance, to be honest. Yeah, well, look, as I said to you earlier, I like things with a slight vintage look to them, and this could be a watch out of the 1950s. It's a triple calendar, annual calendar, Patek 5396 in rose gold. I like rose gold a lot because of the warmth of it, and in fact I think we're selling more rose gold than just about anything else today. People seem to enjoy the warm tone, and it does give it a bit more that vintage look. It's a very convenient watch, being the annual calendar only has to be adjusted once a year, and it's a great foil for my GMT Rolex. So I have a lovely watch to wear when I'm sporting. This is a very nice dress watch when I'm going out in the evening, or even seeing you today. So I'm happy with those two pieces, and I also have a lovely Vacheron Constantine, which is a very Art Deco looking rectangular watch with a wasted case and a beautiful gold bracelet, very soft and just folds up into nothing. And so I've only got a small inventory, although I have to say I have started getting the collection bug, and I have started putting a few pieces away. I have the last of the stainless steel Daytonas with the stainless steel bezel that I've kept. They're untouched, and I've got a few other pieces hiding away there too. So I haven't escaped the fever for collection.